Jose Protancio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Realonda, Philippines' national hero. He fought with his pen, and in his pen, the most valuable written works ever created emerged for the country. Join us in understanding and unveiling Rizal on educational reforms. Education is probably the foundation of everything, and so the role of education became more significant because it is now considered an important factor in showing the freedom of a country and its people.
Rizal's ideals were served as a basis in establishing education as a way for the Filipinos to become curious, rational, and questioning beings. Filipinos did not care much about education if it weren't for Rizal, who highlighted the importance of it for their development. Because back then, we did not know what should be the priority, and through an influential person, we were able to change for the better.
For DON 2016, the main source discussed that Rizal established a school where the students have the freedom to think and act like intelligent beings. This because the Spaniards made sure that only the people who can afford education and are practically powerful can only be the ones allied with the Spaniards. And on that note, Pardon added that education shouldn't be managed by politics nor religion, because with power comes either greatness or darkness.
We also found two other sources that supports our main source. These are Esquire 2015 and Malik 2016. Without education, a country will not prosper. This according to Esquire at 2015. Think about like this. If no one knows about anything, how can one progress? As years go by and developments take place in our country, especially in education, things will change. This is why, as a future educator, we are being taught not to just ask what, who, where, and when questions, but why and how.
In the past, Filipinos learned facts without understanding the real meaning of the concept, and they were not allowed to think. But now, we Filipinos are becoming more critical and serious in terms of information. Moreover, education was mainly controlled by government. But now, there are specific offices in the government that controls and manages the education. Rizal's ideals of education was still influential to the Philippines as it were in the past.
From the past years, because of oppression, racial discrimination, unfair justice, and the inability of the Filipinos to understand the importance of being educated and to think critical. This is what led Rizal to become the bridge in closing the gap between the Filipinos and education. Through Rizal's influence and intelligence, education became important. Because of Rizal's efforts and ideals for education, Filipinos would not have realized that they were prone to the domination of other countries.
If the educational system that the Spaniards implemented was not unfair, Rizal would have felt the immense need of reforming it. The Spaniards abused and denied the Filipinos from questioning the language they speak, which made Rizal very idealistic in terms of educating his fellow men.
interpretations made by different authors, we can say that first, interpretations of Rizal's works were made on education in order to understand and explain his ideas and their significance in the country. Second, even when Rizal died, his ideals about education still lived on and is still being used as a basis in our educational system today. Rizal may have died at the young age of 35, but his life works and lessons still lived on to this very day, his influence alive and present.
Bakit? So, tapos na po kami sa pag-record. We are so happy.
Nauna na po si Aubrey. Awa ng Diyos, maliwanag pa.
Awa ng Diyos po, maliwanag pa, pero humaha mo.